The most common question in connection with this breed, what most people ask is, what is the difference between a white Swiss Shepherd and a German Shepherd dog? The reason why they ask is that many people believe that this is a whitened German Shepherd, or a specially colored version of GSDs, and that is all. Of course, there is some truth in this saying, as, by outlook, they have similarities and the two breeds have had common gene pool. On the other hand, because of the separated breeding, there are differences in the outlook and in the temperament as well. In the case of the Swiss Whites, the working lines and the show lines are not separated like in the case of the German Shepherds. They do not have the hip problems, what many of the GSDs have, and they are much less affected by dysplasia. In general, they have nice, straight backs and less affected by hip problems and degenerative myelopathy. In the past decades, I had some German Shepherds as well, so I see the differences between them quite well and I have a lot of experiences. What I can say is that the Swiss are softer and friendlier and they are versatile in a different way. While the German Shepherds are service and work-oriented breed, the Swiss Shepherds try to find out what you think of. Maybe it sounds quite spiritual, but they are constantly monitoring your behavior and they are like teachers' pets. This is why we call them, in quotes, nerd shepherds. Another interesting difference in character that while the German Shepherds usually connected primarily to the actual owner, to their boss, the Whites seem much more family-oriented dogs for me. I usually have had cats and my German Shepherds were not fond of them, while my White Shepherds have a relatively good connection with them and accept them more easily. The other question people usually ask from me is, whether they are able to work and what can they be used for. As I am part of a big Swiss Shepherd community, I see many examples of working White Shepherd dogs. They excel in many sports and in almost everything that has any connection with their nose work, as they have outstanding smelling abilities. Some of my friends do tracking and field trials with their dogs, others are professional in dog dancing, and I know many who excel in flyball, agility, and in obedience. Others do IPO with them, and one of my friends is doing French ring exercises with his dog. So, as I said earlier, they are quite versatile, and besides being very good family dogs, they can be used a lot of other purposes. They are not so tough and sharp like a Malinois or a Dutch Shepherd dog, where they do what they can for the sake of their owner's will, and they really like to please their master. I have had many dogs in my life, from rescued mixes to working line German Shepherds, but I am still surprised by my White Swiss Shepherd almost every day, with the extent how much stubbornness is missing from them and how cooperative they are in everything. The other important factor in my decision that I will not have any other breed than the Swiss White Shepherds is the healthiness. In our modern world it is a crucial factor, as we would like our dogs to be healthy and spend as much time with them as it is possible, and, thanks God, they are a very health problem-free breed. In our community, it is a very rare case that any of the dogs would have any type of genetic musculoskeletal disorders. They have healthy and good genes, and as they are not overly popular and they are a lesser-known breed, no puppy mills are specialized for them. If we are talking about their activity level and about how much time you have to spend with them, I can say that they are a demanding breed. They are very intelligent and clever, so if you do not spend time with them and don't teach them various things and tricks, they can get bored very easily. And if they get bored, be sure, they will find out how to amuse themselves, for example with digging, chewing, escaping, climbing trough fences, etc. So, I do not advise them to a family, or to owners, who have no time for their dog, or are looking for a nice white garden gnome, who will sit motionless all day in the garden. This breed, the White Swiss Shepherd, is absolutely unfit for these purposes. With this dog you have to be active, deal with them regularly, teach them many things, so that they can use their body and brain, so that they can get a lot of new impulses. Otherwise, they are not a dominant breed, they can be together well with other dogs and play with them without any problems. They are a very social breed, and what is very peculiar in them that they recognize each other's easily. When we go to events, where there are a lot of dogs of different breeds and sizes, Swiss whites usually group themselves to a separate pack within minutes, and they prefer to play with each others and do not really care much with the other breeds. I have never seen anything like this earlier, and I never thought that anything like this exists at all. And, in my opinion, less important question, although a lot of people ask me, is that how this breed was formed and bred. Very few people know that the grandparents of the first German Shepherds were white dogs and carried genes of white color. It is weird to say it, but we usually say that around the Second World War, a dog holocaust happened among the German Shepherds, as the majority of white ones were deselected and killed. The white-colored lines could remain in the United States and Canada, and within Europe, in Switzerland. In these regions, the white color was accepted. All in all, the white Swiss Shepherd gained a lot from this separation, as they preserved the former, not modified gene pool of the German Shepherds. For a while, they were called the Canadian White Shepherd dogs, and Switzerland registered them at FCI. This was accepted, and since then they are called the White Swiss Shepherd dogs. This is their official name. I just told you this story so that you should not be surprised if you hear about white Canadian Shepherds. They are the same dogs, as in some parts of the world they are still called by this name.